Okay. Hello, hello, hello. It's our movie class. Today we will speak about movie Up in the Air with George Clooney and someone else. I don't know exactly. And the movie is pretty simple. I found it. Not too much events, not too much plot stories, not too much twists, but it's pretty cultural. And happily, we have Teacher Lee from America who can explain all these things about fighting in America, about I don't know, about your rights and so on. But let's start from the plot. Let's start from the story. Taurel, would you like to start?
About the movie? Well, I think it's a very good story because it's about a man. He's traveling around the United States. So he doesn't believe in relationships. Actually, he has a kind of weak relationship with his family. And he meet Alex because she is a casual flyer too. So they are both are compatible. But he's gonna very hard because I think he has a crush with her, but unfortunately she is married with kids. So it's something that George Clooney, I don't remember, Ryan is his name. Ryan, he didn't expect about Alice's real life. So he's very disappointed about that. The ending.
So it's a story about love, right?
Excuse me?
Sorry. So it's a love story, right?
No, it's about Easter. It's about love. It's about relationship between your co-workers and your this case okay, it's a love, but it's about being bizarre because he's a person who was hired to fire people. So the other protagonist is Anna Kendall, who she doesn't know about anything about what is the real thing to fire people.
Okay, let's stop on this for a moment. So why someone needs another one to fire people? Why this corporation, this company exists that that have specialists to fire people? What do you think?
It looks like some employers don't have the balls to fire the workers, the employees in America.
Right. But why? Why it's so complicated? Why you have to have balls? Just say letters, make a call.
In America, it's very easy to fire someone, and you don't have to pay much money. In Spain, for instance, workers have more rights than in the United States. In the United States, even you don't have Social Security. So that's a big concern when someone is fired because they don't have an insurance, health insurance.
Okay, let's choose it like a question. So, is it simple in your country to fire someone or to hire someone to fire? Two different processes, or it's complicated? Jörgen, what about Sweden?
Yeah. It's not so easy, I think.
So you cannot say just you fired and it's done.
No, I have never heard like that.
Mm-hmm. What have you do to fire someone?
Yeah, maybe being violent or something. Drinking alcohol regularly or something.
One time doesn't count, right?
No, one time. It's okay.
Okay. Vasant, how it's in India? Do you fire people in your postal office?
Yes, they do, because if somebody do not have enough much transaction, then they would fire because they need revenue. So if you do not, how do you call if there is no revenue in your office, so they will fire you. But they will give you a notice before 15 days. So they will give you some time for making another opportunity like that. So it happens.
15 days, probably some money, right? Do they have to have some reasons to fire you, or just you have slow transaction amount, go away? Is it enough?
Yes, but yeah, in government sectors they do have some reason. Otherwise they cannot just fire the people. But these days, when the private sector, especially IT fields, they fire people without any reason because they don't have any projects, so they can fire somebody who much revenue or doesn't have much productivity, so they can fire them. Yeah.
I see. Taurel, what about your place?
Well, in Mexico, it's so easy to hire people because sometimes the companies they have financial problems. Sometimes they can hire you because you had lower you have low skills, but usually is because the company doesn't have money to keep the same the same team. So usually your manager come to talk to you, and you have that one-on-one with your manager. They give you kind of package for probably 1 month, 2 months, so they don't relocate for another position. So usually your position is no longer available, so thanks for your time. So you have 2 months for your wage, insurance, and that's it.
I see.
Yeah.
Well, in Russia, in this relationship between employers and workers, still, socialism. you cannot hire someone figuratively. It's too hard. You have to, if your company hires someone, will hire someone in the future, in the nearest future, you have to fire that person. Would you want to fire? So it's not easy, and you have to prove your reasons. You have to prove some low qualification or some discipline problems, fines, or something else. So it's almost impossible here to to fire someone. And it's bad for workers as well, not for employers, because employers try to not to hire wrong people, because it's costs too much. Each mistake costs too much, and this trial period and so on, it's long forever. So it strikes both parts, employers and workers, because it's too much rights on workers' side. Teacher Lee, teach us about America, how it's happened.
It's generally difficult to fire people in government, to fire upper management, and to fire people that work in a union. If you're a low-level person, like you work at McDonald's or you work as a salesperson, low-level people can usually be fired easily. Some jobs do have quotas where you're expected to, as Vasanth mentioned, conduct so many transactions. If you don't meet your quota, sometimes you can be fired. Contractors like me that work on a contract, usually when I sign a contract, I work at will. That means I work at the employer's pleasure. He can fire me anytime for any reason, with or without notice, with or without cause. He can just wake up some morning and say, you know what, you're fired. So some of us are like that. A lot of jobs, like you said, once you hire someone, but if it's difficult to get rid of them, you're stuck with them. So a lot of times we have a probation period, which you called provisional period, or I forget what you called it, but
trial
period. We call it probation. A lot of jobs, you're on probation for maybe 3 months. During that probation period, You're working at will. They can fire you at any time for any reason. If it looks like they don't like your personality, if you have friction with other people in the office for any reason during that probationary period, they can get rid of you like that. But once you pass probation, then it becomes more difficult to get rid of you. So very similar to what you guys have, I think.
Okay. So, but why people react so strongly in the movie? What do you think? Why people? Why it's such a big event for them to be fired? You know, people.
Yeah, let me mention something about America that you guys probably don't have. In America, a long time ago, if you got fired, tough luck, shucks, darn, I got to go find new work. Today, we're a different America. Everyone has guns, as you know. Everyone hates everybody. If you fire somebody in America today, he may come back tomorrow with a gun and shoot everybody in your office, including you. So in modern America, employers have to be very careful who they fire and make sure they can document why that person is fired, because that person may come back with a gun and shoot everybody in the office. It happens. It happens over here. So that's a reason over here you want to be sure, maybe a good reason to have someone else fire somebody. Maybe they'll go kill that guy instead of you. But it can be a real concern these days. You've got to be very careful because some people don't take firing very kindly.
But it's sad, obviously. But why it's so big event? I mean, why people got upset so much about that they firing? It's hard to find a new job or something, or they feel like, I don't know. You know, in Japan, people work for same corporation for entire life, right? It's a common stereotype in Japan. But I don't know. In Russia, people change workplace frequently, and
I'll let everyone else discuss that first, okay?
Okay, so yes, what about what guys in your place? Do people work in same place for a long period of time, for entire lifetime, or something like that, or change work, you know, every 2 or 3 years? How it's usually happen, or both variants maybe? Gerard, how it's in Spain?
I don't think we change work too much in Spain, too often as in the United States. And here it's more difficult to find a new job. So, but I think that I heard that in the United States is so easy to get a new job. So it's easy to get fired, but at the same time it's easy to get a new job. I don't know whether that it's true or not, or that it's a myth.
I see.
Low-paying jobs, yeah.
Jürgen, what about Sweden? Do people change workplace often?
No. Yeah, they stay very long.
Very long.
Usually, yeah.
So your colleagues became your family, right?
Yeah.
For a long period. What about India? How it's happened?
It varies from fields. Like if you are in a government job and then you have the job security, so no one can fire you easily. So they will stuck with the job. But some people now these days, I see many IT people, they just move to another company for a betterment, better experience, better salary, just like that. So they do. In private sector, they do, but not in government.
I see. Taurel, how it seems for you?
Well, I think it depends what you want, because see, you are getting a job in a low level, it's easy to get fired, but it's easy to get a new job. So, see, you had a high skills, you pretend to get a good job. So, in my case, I can say is I changed my my work 3 times. So I start to teach in the university. So my second job, it was a software engineer in another city. So I changed because I want. So I was living in a small city and changed my address to a big city. So my modus vivendi, okay, changed because I want. But the people who live in their life in the same city, they can have the same job for long time ago. So it depends.
I see. Well, it's kind of like in my place. In my place, it's depend on your field, on your department. You know, in IT, if you did not change your work for 2 years, people frown upon you. Why you sit on the one place? But in some industry like metallurgy, people work for 20 years and it's normal, pretty normal. So it's depend on direction of your work. Teacher Lee, any comments?
I've added some notes about my area. The pain comes from your flexibility a lot of times. In America, we have the big city Americans and we have what we call middle America, which is the country people, the small town people, the village people, the Trump supporters, okay? We like to just work, be left alone. Let me do my work, leave me alone, work. The steel industry is a big example of that. 50 years ago, most of the Northeast, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, those places, they worked in steel industry jobs, making steel. And they worked in that, their fathers worked in that, their sons worked in that. Generations of families worked in these factories. The towns depended on that factory. And when the factories shut down because of Chinese cheap steel, when the factory shut down, everyone lost their jobs, the entire town died, and people had to move away. So, and that was the only skill they know. They've worked for 50 years, 30 years, and all they know is how to operate the steel machines. Suddenly you fire them, and there's no more steel jobs, and they have no skills to do anything. So they become like a fish out of water. That's the pain. The pain is when you only know one thing and you get fired, now you're helpless. You feel like, oh my God, I'm doomed. You know, yeah, you can get a job at McDonald's and make small money, but if you're a professional that's used to working for $40,000 a year and suddenly you're fired and your job is obsolete, now what are you going to do? You're going to have to start from the bottom at some entry-level job making 10 or 15 or 20,000 a year, and it may take you 10 years to work back up to your previous salary level. So, and that's the pain. Plus, if you lose your job, you can't support your family, your kids can't go to college. It can be extremely stressful. And plus, you know, you lose your self-esteem when you lose your primary, you know, breadwinner, money-making position in the family. So people get depressed. Russians know about this. When you lose your job, your livelihood, you can't support your family, you get really, really depressed. And you get angry sometimes at the person that fired you.
I see. So usually it's a big stress, and nowadays it can be dangerous for people who have to fire you, right? Yeah, so that's why they found a trick. They make a company who borrow people, lend people to you, lend the manager for you. How
I haven't seen this movie. I apologize. Mm-hmm. Does he just go in and just fire people, or does he go in? We have companies called efficiency experts. They'll come in and look at your company and eliminate fat and tell you who can be released and fired, but they don't do the firing. They just tell you.
In the movie, it's pretty simple. It's a company. They don't do any analysis. They don't do anything. They just go there instead of your manager, talk with you that you are fired, explain you, and try to trick you with it's a it's a day when you found a new opportunity in your life. Don't think about it negatively. Think about it like a I don't know.
Okay, so a kinder, gentler firing company. Okay. I've never heard of that. Okay, I've never heard of that.
Gerard, comment?
The guy who fires people gives to the employees a folder with some severance package, some pay, some money, some insurance, health insurance time, something to get them some solace. But it looks like, to me, it looks like in this movie, when this company go to fire people, it's because many people are going to be fired. So maybe because the company does cut downs. So it's something general. It's not only they go to fire one person.
Right,
okay, mass layoffs. Okay.
They mentioned that when the boss of the company of these fake managers went to the hall and said, economics going down, so it's a good time for us. People got fired everywhere, and we have a lot of jobs in the whole country because of that. And they, fly every day to new place to fire a new row of the people. So it's a hard job.
Okay. Okay, that makes more sense. Okay.
Well, okay. So let's answer some questions from the list. Wasan's questions. If you were fired, what would be your immediate reaction? Wasan, teach us. Tell us. What will be your immediate reaction if someone came to your table and said, "You're fired. Go home"?
Yeah, we can say before the movie and after the movie. Before the movie, I would not react too much. Okay, I accept that. So I can do some other things like that. But after this movie, it makes more sense. Like, okay, that's what I was looking for. So I wanted to get away from this and just exploring what I really like. So so you're giving me an opportunity. So you are just unlocking the lock. So I am pretty happy, and I would thank them. I think.
So I can see that their speeches worked on you, right? A new opportunity. And what they say? Gerard, can you quote something from these speeches?
I can tell you what was my reaction when I was fired. Because the crisis, but I found that something normal because I know if the economic situation is bad and I'm fired, I know I accept that because it's not something personal.
Well, of course it's upset, but I mean, these guys in the movies, they were master of words. They speak it like in the way, everyone who started a big corporation like Google was fired someday. And you now in this position, just, go and find your way to be a good man. But I can quote it good, but George Clooney can. Okay. So, Jürgen, what would be your reaction? Or it's just impossible?
Astonishment, maybe.
Astonished, right? I see. Well, as for me, I would feel some relief. Current job is kind of more demanding than I used to have. And sometimes I think, well, maybe it's a time to be fired. Laura, what about you? What would be your reaction?
Well, the first instance I could say is a shock, kind of disappoint, maybe a little bit depressed because I know myself, I'm a hard worker, I have good skills, but if there is a reason they, fired me, so probably I will be depressed for several days. But well, anyway, I'm not the first and the last one, so I need to move on. So I'm looking forward for something much better. So if a door is closed, other door it will be open. It's kind of you check new opportunities.
It's a Chinese wisdom, right? Or not?
What?
I think it's written by some Chinese writer, right? To open a new door, you have to close previous.
I don't know if it's a Chinese phrase, but it's my way. I know this kind of upset thing, but you need to think about it. So you need to be positive. So it's not your ending. So probably is starting for something much better. So think positive, I think.
Yes, I understand. But I understand that situation can be different. It's not only about money, not only about you. I understand if you work, I don't know, 20 or 30 years in the same company, you feel like you oust it from the family, right? It's just like I don't know what's the word for that. Usually,
What you said basically, ousted from the family is a good comparison. Yeah.
Yeah. So everyone's still here, but I'm not good enough anymore. So it cannot be without upset. You cannot get it without be upsetting. I said upset it. Okay. So that's the question. Do you like this Ryan job? If you were offered to do this job, would you take it? Sounds, can you fire people, in the row every day by tens?
No, you all know that I'm a soft-hearted man, so I couldn't do this. I cannot do this. I would do like now what Natalie do in this movie. So I would just quit my job. I could not bear people cry in front of me. Yeah.
I like the scene when she sat on the chair, and it's a room full of empty chairs. It's people who she just fired, and she sat on this chair and think hard. What thinks hard? What I do? What is the job? Is it? Taurel, please.
No, I won't like the Ryan's job because it's too. I mean, it's a hard job because you are fighting other people, so you need to be, conscious about what are you doing, because the other people get depressed, angry, so it's kind of craziness. So I don't take it. The second reason, I'm not a good traveler. I like to travel because I want and I wish, but not for job, because see his apartment is so small, is empty, is not charming life. So he's all the time, out. Is kind of hard. He's living, in the hotels, driving along the day, eating lunch and restaurants. So it's too impersonal. It's not a charming life. So I don't like.
I see.
Yes.
Gerard, and you? Our last chance.
I don't like this job either. It's so negative. And besides, some people even kill themselves because when they are fired. Right. So what about your conscience? You had to do that. I don't know. I wouldn't be able to bear that burden.
Well, I see, yes. It's kind of complicated job. You have to work with emotions all the time, right? People react strongly. You have to find a word for them, and they have some rules, right? Don't mention fire. Never say fired. Say new opportunity. Never, how they say? Never talk about your feelings. Never talk that you understand, because no one cares. Or something like that. I like these rules. So I would not take this job either, because I don't know. It's unbelievable to work with emotions the whole day. But I found this Ryan in movie looks very professional. The way how he spoke with people, I like this way. I think that he was able to find consolation for many of them. What do you think? And when the girl started to do the same job, it looks different. It looks differently, right? So people get angry on her, and so on. So do you think that he is professional and it's important skill and you have to be taught for that? Taurel, what do you think?
Excuse me, I didn't hear you. What?
Do you think that Ryan in the movie is a professional of his job? He's doing very well or not? How would you say?
Okay, what is your question again? Because I didn't get you.
Okay. Do you think that Ryan is a professional? He's doing his job very well.
He is very professional because he doesn't show his feelings. So he's very conscious what he's doing. So he's a counterpart to the Natalie, and he's so ambitious. She has no idea. She hasn't no idea what she's doing. So okay, never mind. So I think he's professional. Yeah. Okay.
But I found interesting that you mentioned that he's professional because he does not show his feeling.
Yeah, I mean he's very conscious because is when he sit down and he speak with the people, so you can show what he's doing. I mean his expression, he doesn't have any expression. He just talk. Don't try to to comfort other people. So it's kind of a strategy for his job.
But I understand that, and I agree. But and one moment I was disappointed about him, and it's the moment when he tried to. They played with Natalie in this girl that she have to fire him. And I think this guy have a lot of experience. He fired, I don't know, 1,000 people. Now he can summarize all this experience and show, something brilliant to make her cry, during firing him. But it does not go very well, in my opinion. Can you remember this scene, Vasants?
No.
No?
Which one?
When Natalie they play it, role play. Natalie have to fire Ryan.
When she
yes, I remember.
Is the same when? I'm sorry.
Please go on. Please.
Okay, so you are talking about when Ryan is in his manager office and she come in and talk with
yes.
and she tried to talk with Ryan's manager, is it?
Yes, and then they start this role playing, right? He said, "I'm an employee, and you have to fire me." And at this moment, I expected, a big show because he's an experienced guy. He looked at this many times, and I expected something, so that she will cry after. But it doesn't happen.
Well, actually, maybe she didn't expect the Ryan's reaction because she's new. She's a new employer, so she has no idea about the process. And Ryan tried to that she can understand what he wants to to travel and get the I can explain you. Okay. So I have so many ideas, but I need to organize my ideas. So
don't worry, it's fine. It's why we're here.
Yeah. So the thing I'm trying to say is Ryan tried to teach her that the process that she's tried to complete or to make the process in computer is too impersonal, is too unprofessional. So when I want to say when show her the reaction, on the normal reaction of the people, is when the Ryan's manager, so probably she can figure out, so probably Ryan has right. She needs to try to understand the real process before to complete the process, the computer process, is come to make it more unprofessional, more impersonal.
I see. Good. Vasants, your comment?
Yes, I think the reason she didn't react too much is, yes, she didn't expect anything from him. And one more thing is she got a job because of her new idea, implementing the idea of distant calling. So firing people by using the video calling method. So, and she impressed the manager and the entire panel too. So she was pretty confident at that time. So that might be the reason she was overconfident, and I think that is the reason.
Let me try to explain this part to Teacher Lee and practice storytelling in that regard. So the reason why one of the reasons why Ryan likes this job, he really likes traveling. He doesn't belong to any place. He always on his way. And this girl, Natalie, came to his company and said, fuel cost is too much, tickets cost too much, we pay for nothing, just moving these people. We can do all the same over the Skype. And it was, a strike for Ryan. He don't want to do that over the Skype. He want to travel. He want to keep his job in the same way. That's why he started to taught her that it's very complicated job. You cannot do that over Skype. Let me show you. Let me teach you. You know nothing about this business. So it's a beginning of the plot. And they played some role playing, and their boss decided that Natalie should go with Ryan in this traveling to make some experience.
Okay.
Okay. Gerard, please.
Yes, in this movie, we learn how new technologies affect our relationships, because in this way that she wants to fire people with video conference, she also felt the pain of being her relationship broken, split with a text message. And this movie was made in 2009, and now I think it's something normal. People break their relationships with a text message, so that makes some things very impersonal, I think it's not nice doing that, but that's quite common.
And answering Teacher Lee comment in the chat, so remote firing is impersonal and uncaring.
Yes.
But it's something normal in our life today, I think. I just read yesterday an article that Microsoft fired like 1,000 people by just calling them, the robot called them over Skype and said, you are fired. So
that would make me angry.
Well, it's yes, it's something outstanding, right? When you getting just a robot call to say that I don't know it, but maybe it's our future. Maybe we have special firing robots or something.
Could be. Wow.
Okay, and let's answer some Jorgen's questions. What kind of speaking is Ryan doing? Jorgen, can you say more?
Motivational.
You mean on these conferences, right?
Yeah.
Motivational conference, yes. Unpacking your backpack.
Exactly.
I think
Ryan has a motivational speaks about that all our things we put in our backpack means knickknacks, our belongings, and our relationships. And he says that that's a burden that we should break free from them. I don't know, because he doesn't like relationships. He doesn't like being attached to anything. So he says that, but I think eventually he realizes that that's not the best option at the end of the movie, because you get alone. And what about our lives are without our relationships? I think it's the most important thing, having good relationships with the people around us.
And I liked this part in the movie very much, because we can hear a lot of motivational speakers on many conferences when they speak how you have to live your life, right? But I don't believe that all the speakers, having better lives than I am. So, and we can see that in the movie. This guy is he's a master of words, I would say. His speeches are perfect. You want to believe them. you want to believe him when he spoke. But eventually you understand that he is just a poor guy, who has nothing, who don't have a family, don't have, I don't know, girlfriend, don't have nothing. And the only thing he has, it's his speeches. That's all.
Yeah.
And in the movie, they show this clearly. He fell in love, and what happened? Nothing good. he went to his family, back to his family, and what happened? Everyone forget about him already, because he doesn't support his family. He's nothing do. And I like this line in the movie. So I would say that movie has a few lines, right? Not only about firing people, but about personal characters, about how we seems, and what we inside. Something like this. So motivational speaking. Another question: which two things should Natalie not say to the fired person? And I mentioned one, right? She cannot say fired, the verb fire. But I can't recall another one. The sounds, maybe you? So Jürgen, give us the answer.
Yeah. Let me find it. Yeah. Don't apologize, and don't tell how hard this is for you.
Right. It's a good part, I think. Okay, and another question. Another question from Jürgen. Let me copy it to the chat. Something is missing. It's a riddle, right? What word is missing, and do you agree? I don't know what it's about.
Moving.
Moving is living, right?
Moving is living.
Do you agree?
Yeah.
But if you agree, why you don't go to New Zealand tomorrow?
Because it's expensive.
Who cares? Sell your house. Moving is living. How your entire life should be in your backpack, right? I think it works for young people, maybe for some who tend to I don't know. So traveling and moving may be different, right? It's not the same thing, right? Traveling when you have a place where to return, you just want for some vacation or something else, for new experience. But moving when you have nothing, right? You just moving around. Okay, Vasants, can you say more about this? So it's not about distance, about what?
Yeah. Yes. Just move to some place. It It might be about just your next street or your neighborhood. Just open your mind. Look at what is around you. So that is so you will know about the life. So I think that's what the line means. Yeah.
So moving not in distance, but moving like changing in your life, right? Acquiring new things, new ideas, or something like this. In this case, I have to agree with that. And actually, we have a lot of expressions from this movie. I wrote a list, and Jorgen helped me to write some that's not really clear. I know that there is a lot, but maybe you can choose some and explain us if there is something interesting.
Okay, let's see. Stingy is selfish, usually with money. Hubris is a bad meaning, excessive pride or arrogance. Astutely, give it up for, that may mean to applaud. Eviscerated has a kind of a strong meaning to gut someone, cut their guts out, so it has a bad meaning. Zeal, enthusiasm. Bib is a baby's napkin wrapped around the chin, wrapped around the neck.
So bring him a bib, mean he's going to cry or something like this?
It means he's going to make a mess when he's eating.
Okay.
when you eat and your food falls down on your chest, you need a bib to. I just tried. You're going to make a mess.
Mm-hmm.
I just tried to
understand. A bib is not crying.
I just tried to understand it with context, and the context was something about like it's they was going to call the man like a wimp, and that's why they said bring a bib or something like this. I think
maybe he's going to cry like a baby.
I see.
Bibs are for babies, so if he needs a bib, then that means he's a baby. So he's going to cry. Maybe that's why.
I see.
To sugarcoat is to make something sound better than it is.
So it was his work, I think.
Yeah. Well, it's not so bad, you know. You're going to meet new people in a new job and learn new skills, and you know. Weasley's kind of like avoiding unpleasantness by doing things the easy way.
So it comes from animal, right?
A weasel, yeah, could be. Yeah, there's an animal called a weasel.
Mm-hmm, yes.
Cut loose, to release, to fire. Stomach something is to tolerate unpleasantness.
Mm-hmm.
In his job, you have to be able to stomach firing people and watching them cry and get angry and get depressed. You've got to be able to tolerate that unpleasant emotional experience. Chipped in, contributed a share. Cold fit, is that coughing?
Cold feet, I think.
No, I think it's
cold feet.
Two double E feet.
Okay.
Cold feet.
Cold feet means you to chicken out.
Yes. A guy was about to get married, so he get cold feet.
Right, to back out, to run away. At the last, usually at the last minute. At the last minute. I'm a sucker for. I have a fondness for. You know, I'm a sucker for a pretty smile.
Is it not, how to say it? Isn't it too much informal? What would you say?
I'm a sucker for. It's an idiom. Yeah, it's an informal idiom.
Would you recommend better to avoid it or not?
It's a common expression. It's not a business term, but if you say I'm a sucker for Italian food, that's okay. It doesn't have a bad meaning.
I see.
You can say I'm a sucker for Italian food. Let's eat Italian. Okay, you know.
Okay.
Burritoed.
Sorry, simulated. What?
Simulated. It's not real, right? Something simulated.
But in this movie.
Simulated means fake or pretend. Now, I'm not sure why he would be a sucker for simulated hospitality. Maybe because that's his job. When you pretend to be kind, it seems like he's a sucker for that because that's his job. I don't know. I'm not sure what that means.
Okay.
I think it's not his quote. Maybe it's someone else in the movie.
To run the gauntlet, GA. That's from medieval times. To run the gauntlet, there's a Clint Eastwood movie called The Gauntlet. He's a detective. To run the gauntlet means to run between two lines of people to get to the other side. And their job is to beat you and try to stop you from going between them. So it's a kind of punishment. You have two lines of people, maybe 10 people, maybe 20 people, 10 on each side. And your punishment is you've got to run the gauntlet. You've got to get from one end of the line, go between them, and get to the other end. And while you're going, they have maybe sticks or fists, and their job is to beat you and try to hurt you as bad as they can to stop you from getting to the other side. So that's a kind of punishment. So if you run the gauntlet, then you overcome tremendous obstacles in order to succeed. So it's kind of like a trial by fire.
Actually, I'm trying to recall another expression with gauntlet. You know, it's some order when you ask another guy to make a fight with you. You have to throw a gauntlet or not?
Pick up the gauntlet.
Yeah, you throw down the gauntlet.
I see.
Gauntlet is a knight's glove, a metal glove. So if you throw down the gauntlet on the ground, you challenge him to a fight.
And it's an idiom, right? It's understandable, right?
Yes.
Good.
Yeah, to throw down the gauntlet means to challenge someone to fight.
I see.
We also have a saying, you put a stick on your shoulder and you say, knock off that stick. And if he knocks off that stick, then he's thrown down the gauntlet. He's challenged you to a fight. Okay. Burritoed, I don't know. Burrito is a Mexican food.
It's from context, I think. Jürgen, I would say it's about, intercourse. It's about love story.
Okay. It might be. A burrito is meat inside of a blanket or a tortilla. I don't know.
How I understood that.
Okay.
And I had a grammar question, actually. This guy told, like, I gonna need you key card. I gonna need you. Why he doesn't say I need you key card? Why he needs this? I'm going to need your key card. I need your key card means I need it now. I need your key card. Give it to me.
I'm going to need your key card means in the near future.
I see. Not
Maybe
just
in a
now,
few-
right?
Not just now. I'm going to need your key card if we're going to go through this door or something like that. Yeah.
I see. So you can go to your table, get it, and bring it to me, something like this.
Right. Right. Going
understand.
to is in the future. Future need. Okay.
I see. I see.
Okay. Yo-yo is a child's toy. However, that you bounce up and down. So if a person's a yo-yo, he doesn't know what he's doing. He's an idiot. A yo-yo's an idiot. He goes up and down, up and down, up and down, and that's all he can do. Up and down, up and down. So a yo-yo's an idiot.
But it was hard to guess in the movie, you know. Did you guess this, Gerard, in the movie?
I didn't realize about this expression, but I would have guessed the meaning of yo-yo.
I see.
I realized about something. You know, the movie was made in 2009. It was after the crisis in 2008, so that was a good reaction to the downtown. There was a big crisis in America and all the world. So many people was fired.
See, I understand. Okay, and we run out of the vocabulary, right? And it's a nice timing.
I
Yeah.
think I got most of them covered for you. Okay.
So, thank you very much, Teacher Lee. And but what do you think about the movie in general, guys who watched it? Was it easy to understand the language in the movie for you? Have you used subtitles?
No.
Because I found that Clooney speak very clearly, right? I can understand without any writing, and his partners do that well. I for a moment I think that it's kind of adapted movie, you know, for beginners. Because usually I have a lot of expressions from the movie, a lot. I just put a few of them in our list, but at this time I have a problem to find, you know, new words.
Okay. Good.
Yeah, it was quite easy movie to understand. Yes, I agree.
Okay, so good choice
Yeah.
for us. So let's finish on that. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Teacher Lee, for all this explanation, to be our English expert. And thank you all, guys, and see you next time.
See you soon.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Don't forget.